Okay, so let's get started learning how to use Visual Studio 2010 and how to program in C++. So I just loaded Visual Studio and this is the screen that appeared. So what you need to do is click New Project. So Visual Studio organizes all your work for a given program that you might write into something that calls a project, or sometimes it calls it a solution as well for some reason. All the programs that we're going to write in this course, we're going to create as these ones, Win32 console application. So you just need to make sure that Win32 console application is selected, and then you give it a name. So let's give it the name Hello World, as all introductions to languages start with a Hello World program. Click OK. Okay, so now on this little wizard here, click Next, and we're always going to create empty projects. So make sure empty project is checked, and then press Finish. And now Visual Studio will open your project. So here in the Solution Explorer you can see the files. There are none at the moment because we created an empty project. For your project, which is called Hello World, so to add a C++ program file, you right click on Source Files and then Add New Item here. Okay, and then you have to make sure that C++ file.cpp is highlighted, and then give it a name, and for the purposes of this we'll give it the same name as our project, Hello World, and then press Add, and that will add that C++ source file. There it is, and it opens it as well with the IDE's editor. Okay, so let's type in a very simple program in C++. Comments in C++ start with a double slash, and the IDE will color your comments green. So let's give it my first C++ program displays the greeting hello. Alright, so in C++ there are two things that happen when you compile your program. The first thing that happens is that the preprocessor goes off and includes anything that you include with an include statement. And because we're going to write something out in this program, we need to include the library of functions which is bundled together under this name IO stream, so input output stream. And that will give us access to the commands that let us write out or read in from the keyboard. Okay, so that's all for the includes for now, and notice that the include statements, these directives that go to the preprocessor, don't have a semicolon at the end. Okay, now then, your program always starts running in a function called main. So this is a function definition. Int means it's going to return an integer. That doesn't matter, just don't worry about that. Main, it has to be called main. That's the point where the program will start execution from. And because it's a function, it needs to return something. It needs to return an integer, so you just put return 0. And save with Control S quite often. It's common good practice, isn't it, to save your work often. Okay, so now we just need to have it write out a greeting. So the command to do that is cout, and you put a double greater than sign, and then any string you like. Let's just say hello. And if you want the new line, remember new line is \n. That's the same as before. And statement lines in C++ always finish with a semicolon. If you miss off the semicolon, it won't compile. Simple as that. And actually this won't compile either at the moment because it won't recognize cout. You have to preface it with standard. And now you see Visual Studio now has opened up a big list of all the functions you can use in that sort of namespace. And there's cout, that's the one we're using. So make sure it says std : cout. Save that. Now this should work. Okay, so first thing is to build solution. That has the shortcut F7, which we'll use a lot. So let's click that, build solution, and then something happens down here in the output window, and the last thing it says is 1 succeeded. That's good. That means that the compilation succeeded. So our program will do something. To run it, you want to go to debug and then start without debugging. So the shortcut is Control plus F5 on the keyboard. Start without debugging. So select that left button. Okay, so it opened up a console window and it displayed hello. And then you can press any key to come back. So that's your first program in C++.